go. It should be a good one. And bringing you all of the action, Drew Goodman and Irv Brown. Let's talk to them.
All right, Norm, it should be a great one. When you talk about college basketball coaches, when you talk about the premier college basketball coaches in the country, you have to talk about Dean Smith, who's been at North Carolina for 29 years. He's won 674 times. You also have to mention Boyd Tiny Grant at Colorado State. He's won more than 245 times. Two great coaches. And when you talk about Tar Heel basketball, in the last 10 years, 9 of those years, they finished in the top 10 at the end of the year.
Well, and it's the system. Let me tell you what I really like about what they do. It doesn't matter how good Michael Jordan is. Michael Jordan carried the equipment when he was a freshman. Nobody varies from what they do, and they do it very, very well.
Now, Michael Jordan also hit a pretty good shot in the finals in '82 to get the only NCAA championship at Carolina. They have a great guy in the middle right now by the name of Scott Williams.
You know, he's so much bigger than I remember last year. Plus, he looks quicker. I mean, this guy can play. I look for him to really come into his own this year because J.R. Reed is out of there.
That's right. As far as Colorado State is concerned, their main man, as we look at King Rice, pardon me, he runs the show for them.
Well,
he's the point guard.
Yeah, and he's going to play, apparently. You know, he had a little bit of a wrist problem, but King had a great ball game against Kentucky. I look for him to be very big tonight.
He's playing with a bad wrist, but he had career night against Kentucky. We'll mention that a little bit later on. As far as Colorado State is concerned, they have a guy in the middle who actually can play 5 different positions, all 5 positions on the floor, Mike Mitchell.
Well, he's a big-time basketball player. He can shoot it from the outside. He can take it inside. It gets you a steal. He rebounds. He's the guy does everything. If he just doesn't reach and get into foul trouble, going to be very, very big tonight also.
And another guy that has to have a good night, Mark Meredith, who's shooting at about 50% from 3-point range.
He really is a good-looking shooter against his own, and I just think the guy can play some defense, too. He's been a nice surprise.
You know what time it is now, right?
What time is it?
It's time for the professor's clipboard. What does North Carolina have to do to get a victory here in the Mile High City?
All right, first of all, they need those second chance opportunities. They really do pound the offensive glass. I like the way they move that in that direction. They also have to get Mitchell in foul trouble. How do you do that? By getting him to reach, by driving, doing things like that against him. And then the third thing is to force the tempo. Dean Smith's ball clubs usually force the tempo.
This is a tremendous opportunity for Boyd Grant's ball club. What does CSU have to do?
All right, number one, they got to rebound. You know, they've been small. They're going to start Andy Anderson tonight to get a little size in it. They got to go out and hit the boards. It's simple as that. And then they've got to also use the clock. You just can't come down and shoot it right away. And they must make the three-pointers to spread the defense and give Mitchell a chance to operate underneath.
Dean Smith was thinking about this ball game after the ball game against Rick Pitino in Kentucky. 230-plus points on the ball game on the scoreboard. He said it'll be like going from Maui to Juneau, Alaska. 2 different types. This one should be a slower pace.
See it in Denver. It's a good one. North Carolina against Colorado State. What a program at North Carolina. You know, the Final Four is at McNichols Sports Arena in Denver this year. North Carolina very well might be one of the teams here. Colorado State, on the other hand, went to the NCAAs a year ago, and they're off to a great start, 8-2. It should be a beauty. Let's go down to the public address announcer and Wes Sargent.
Welcome to McNichols Arena in the second game of the Mile High Classic. Tonight's game pairs the Tar Heels of North Carolina with the Rams of Colorado State University. And now for the starting lineups. For the Tar Heels, at forward from Utah, Alabama, number 32, Pete Chilcutt. And for the Rams, at forward from Cerritos, California, number 32, Mike Mitchell. Forward for North Carolina from Nassau, Bahamas, number 44, Rick Fox. And at forward for Colorado State from Ada, Oklahoma, number 34, Andy Anderson. At center for the Tar Heels from Hacienda Heights, California, number 42, Scott Williams. And at center for Colorado State from Fort Collins, Colorado, number 42, Eric Freehoff. At guard for North Carolina from Binghamton, New York, number 21, King Rice. And a guard for the Rams from West Side, Iowa, number 24, Lynn Tryon.
Boyd Grant, 247 career victories against 99 defeats in 12 years, 9 at Fresno State, and 3 years at CSU, 53 and 25. Dean Smith, 29 years at North Carolina, 670 victories. And they're going with one true guard, Carolina. King Rice, the point guard. The rest of those folks are really forwards. Williams, the true center. Madden will play a little guard tonight. Fox some defensively. He's got a little bit better feet than Madden. For Colorado State, they line up like this. Mitchell in the middle, Anderson and Freehoff up front, and then Mark Meredith and Lynn Tryon in the backcourt. CSU has to rebound on the defensive glass. Otherwise, it could be a long night for them.
Yeah.
Let's check out the officials tonight and all Western Athletic Conference crew. And Irv Brown had something to do with the hiring of most of these guys, I imagine.
Oh, I don't know about that. Guy in the middle, Bobby Deibler, is the lead official. He's worked the Final Four. Brent Smith is on the left. The veteran Gordon Burke on the right. Both are from Utah. Deibler from El Paso.
You know you're pretty good when you have an arena that you're playing named after you already. That is the situation for Dean Smith.
I'll tell you something else, too. You know you're pretty good when your last name is Smith and people know you are. And there's Boyd Grant.
Used to call Fresno State's arena Grant's Tomb. He never lost there.
I'll tell you one thing that the basketball purists can appreciate tonight. You have two fundamentalists. You will not see improper use of the pivot foot, defensive position, you know, the little things that win.
Rams control the tap, and the crowd reacts favorably to that. A lot of folks down from Fort Collins, which is about 60 miles to the north of Denver. That is the home of CSU. And a man-to-man defense for Carolina.
Look at the mismatch underneath. King Rice has Mitchell.
Cut to the basket, Anderson, and he has an easy bucket, and Boyd Grant said that might be there.
Anderson was in the doghouse earlier in the month. Right now, North Carolina will really push the tempo as we discussed earlier.
Jump hook, no good. Mitchell with the rebound. He wants to push it. Mark Meredith settles. And nearly a steal, and CSU will keep the basketball. An errant pass by Meredith, and Chilcutt was so surprised it came at him that he couldn't hang on. There is Boyd Grant.
I thought Dean Smith really paid him a nice compliment. He just feels Grant can coach. And anybody in the country doesn't feel that Smith can. North Carolina does a great job of disguising defenses and changing up. They don't just do it on free throws.
Mitchell, lob inside, easy bucket. Mike Mitchell, averaging better than 20 a game, has his first two. And CSU throwing a shutout right now.
That's a good look inside by Anderson. Boy, look at the contact.
And Williams, he could do that all night at 6'11" and 250 pounds.
He is so much bigger than I remember a year ago. I saw him in the regional. Biceps are huge.
He's pretty thin in the waist.
Good denial. That's one of the things they do well, too. Deny the guard.
Meredith all the way to the bucket, and he lays it in. Mike Mitchell, he has 4 straight 20-point nights. He is legit. King Rice working against Lynn Tryon.
I think the question around the country with North Carolina, are their guards good enough to get them to the big show? They've been to the Final 16 forever. Can you do it without outstanding guards?
Good job by Anderson denying the post. They tried to work it to Madden. Anderson was in the doghouse last week. He's emerged from that. And he gets a start tonight. Very talented senior from Ada, Oklahoma.
You notice the heavy tape job on King Rice's wrist. Rice reminds me a lot of Quinn Buckner. Look at this.
Meredith with a steal. Rice gets it back. 6-2. We're 18:05.
Gonna mention the guy with the basketball. Reminds me of Quinn Buckner, played at Indiana. That's a good no call.
Was a good no call. And now time away from the basketball, and Rice is down. Keep in mind, Irv just mentioned the wrist injury. Late in the Kentucky game, he came down hard, put down the left wrist or left hand to try to avoid injury. Let's see if we can pick up what happened here.
Freehoff pulls the Academy Award.
Do you know what it is? It's his wrist again. He banged it against Freehoff. He banged it right into his thigh.
All right, one more time. You can see the pain. He ain't going to come out of there, though. He's going to hang in there. Dean Smith is up. Bill Guthridge is up. Phil Ford, he ain't going to come out of there. He's going to hang in there.
30 seconds on the shot clock. Rice looking for help, finds it in Williams.
Are you surprised how many North Carolina people there are in the audience?
Well, they're one of those national teams like Notre Dame. They have fans everywhere.
You know, you think of them, you think of the Canadians, the Celtics, the Yankees. That's how good the program has been under Smith.
Chilcutt contests Carolina basketball. And you quickly get an idea that there are many more fans for Colorado State than Carolina.
Well, let's see. It looks like it goes off the North Carolina kid.
They buy a break there. It looked like Williams knocked it out of bounds. Fresh 45. 6-2, CSU early. Along with Irv Brown, I'm Drew Goodman. The Mile High Classic from Denver still to come later on tonight. CU taking on the University of Massachusetts.
Nice.
Alley-oop. Scott Williams. Good
nice
lob.
Pass. King Rice. Great job. A lot of people say he's a football player in a basketball uniform. That didn't look like a football player.
He was a pretty good football player at Binghamton High School in New York. Meredith gets Tryon.
Better take care of the basketball against North Carolina. They really sag those passing lanes.
They scout well. Freehoff seldom shoots it, and they lay off him. So yeah, they extend the defense out too against the three-point shooters. Tough shot. Chilcutt, good rebound. Carolina can tie here. Got Mark Meredith working against Rick Fox. He's given away about 4 inches. No try to trap. Rice penetrates. Soft jumper off the glass. King Rice
had a big ball game against Kentucky. For North Carolina, really, they have the kind of season they're used to. Boy, Dean Smith has just gone wild because 2 subs were sitting down. There was a delay as the ball bounces away, and they don't get him in the game. Smith is a guy who knows the rules.
See Carolina's trapping defense. They try to direct the basketball. Mitchell against Chilcutt right now. Mitchell backs it out. Shot clock's at 12. Freehoff back to Mitchell as the shot clock winds down. His jumper's off and it stays alive. Tryon, he'll shoot a 20-footer. Back of the iron, and Tryon's been in a slump. He's hit only 10 of his last 28.
Tar Heels going to run number 1 now. Let's pick it up. They usually reverse it right here. Now look for the cutter.
Chilcutt gets help, and that pass was intended for Brent Smith. The only problem with it is that Brent Smith is in a striped shirt. A couple of subs coming in. George Lynch, 6'7" freshman, number 34, comes into the ball game, and now Jeff Denny, backup point guard, a senior, 6'4", comes in for King Rice.
Watch this Lynch. This is a major catch. He's got raw tools.
Matt Wenstrom, 7-footer from Katy, Texas, comes in.
Everybody wanted him.
That's right.
They say the recruiting class they've got commitments from for next year, there's going to be something else.
This one wasn't bad.
All right, here they are in the zone. Once again, Dean Smith changes up as well as anybody in the country. He used to coach at the Air Force Academy with Bob Spear. He was the assistant down there and also had a golf team.
The 50s. Back to Meredith. Meredith can shoot to about 24 feet. He's at the NBA line right now. The white line is the NBA line. The red line is the collegiate line. Tryon's 0 for 2 now from the floor. Here's Denny. Fox, and he walked. Rick Fox from Nassau in the Bahamas, though he played his final 2 years of basketball in Warsaw, Indiana. Warsaw Community High School. That's where Dean Smith found him. 14-46. For North Carolina, he's checked in. He is a sophomore from Burke, Virginia.
Yeah, a little backcourt there. Let's pick that up. Watch where you establish. He's established it, definitely. That's a good call by Bobby Deibler.
He also traveled.
Good double.
Chilcutt finds Denny. Denny will go to Davis, who is the nephew of Walter Davis. And Lynn Tryon buys the first personal of the ball game. Tryon, a sophomore from West Side, Iowa. You talked about King Rice's football exploits. This guy was recruited to play wide receiver at Nebraska and the University of Iowa. Chose basketball at CSU instead. And Scott Williams checks back in.
North Carolina has this going for them. If you're tired, you raise your hand, and it gets you out of it. They've done that as long as I remember that, and they clap for the opponents when they're introduced. You know, just the little things that make a difference.
As a matter of fact, we wanted to shoot headshots, facial shots earlier today, and Dean Smith said, let's do it this evening. I want our guys clean shaven.
That's good.
That's right. Andy Anderson will pull up from 15, off the glass, a little hard. Williams has the carom. Here comes the Tar Heels the other way.
Really wasn't that bad a shot, though. I like what Anderson has done in the early going.
Yeah. Williams, quick head fake to the glass and lays it off.
This guy's going to have the big year, Drew. I just believe he needed J.R. Reed to move on so he can blossom into his own. There's some ability.
He's averaging 12.5 points and 7.5 rebounds for the Tar Heels, and they have 6 guys in double figures.
Boy, is that tough. Is there a crowd?
Chilcutt. He has a personal foul, his first team foul. 8-6 North Carolina.
There's Dean Smith. He was a quarterback at the University of Kansas on an academic scholarship. Played with Wilt. Chamberlain came to school. No, I beg your pardon. Chamberlain was a year after. Dean Smith was there. He's out of Emporia, Kansas.
Meredith against Williams. He wanted the three-pointer there, but Williams is 6'11". Meredith only about 6'2½". Keeps switching up on the defense. Tryon now against Denny. This is Anderson. Shot clock, plenty of time, 25 seconds. Good cut by Mike Mitchell and a great feed by Anderson.
That's the second pass that Anderson's had. His passing has been superb in the early going.
This is Hubert Davis, nephew of Walter Davis, who plays for the Nuggets here. Madden's fouled and it'll count. Kevin Madden. Good body control, and he comes up limping a little bit.
Strong move down in the blocks. Watch Madden, who had a brother who played at Ark State. This is the 8th best career field goal shooter in school history.
And Jamie Hines comes in. Lynn Tryon goes out. There's Anderson. Jamie Hines comes in for Colorado State. He had been starting at small forward the last few games and really has been lighting it up. Matter of fact, he had 12 straight field goals over a 3-game stretch. Tonight he'll play guard. That's because of the tremendous size advantage that Carolina has over the Rams. And Madden makes the 3-point play. And it's 11-8. Tar Heels with their biggest lead of the night.
There's token pressure now. They look for the double. There's Fox running at him.
Mitchell now. He'll pressure, dishes, and it'll be a charge.
You can't do this against Dean Smith. And Tiny Grant's going to let his kid know that you must stay on the ground. They do the best job maybe in America drawing charges. They work at it. There it is. Easy call.
Williams stepped up.
Tell you where they really pick up charging calls late in the ball game when the other team is trying to freeze it up. You better have body balance.
Rice gets it to Williams. George Lynch has come back in for the Tar Heels, so they are liberally moving people around, perhaps because of the altitude. Dean always likes to use 8 players, that kind of rotation. Nearly a steal by Freehoff, but he's going to use 11 tonight. He told us that earlier. Good look inside. Lynch spins, baseline jumper, sweet.
Oh, I like him. Oh, I like him. Just a freshman.
He played for Patrick Henry High in Roanoke, Virginia. They were the Virginia State champs.
He showed some serious range and toughness this summer.
First three-pointer by Meredith. Anderson contests hard, doesn't get it, and they call him a foul there. George Lynch, he dove at his legs. And don't know about that one.
Let's pick up Anderson's hustle here. Junior college transfer really competes on the backboards. And that's one you're going to get called whether you hit him or not when you go down like that. Oklahoma didn't get 150 tonight, Drew. They beat North Texas State, that is, 147-94. Kansas leading Pan American 53-32 at halftime.
Good steal that time. Anderson gives off to Mitchell. Mitchell, 4-on-3. Finds Hines, and the pass was behind him, so CSU now settles down, and there's the steal. This is Davis. He's got Rice if he needs him. He takes it himself. Hubert Davis, not widely recruited, but wanted to come to Carolina because his cousin Walter played there.
I think Walter. Yeah, and Walter took him to a couple of Dean Smith's camps early in his career, and he was just sold on the school.
Good shot, Mark Meredith. That's a two-pointer, and Meredith, this unbelievable stat. He has attempted only 15 shots inside of three-point range all year long.
I really like this guy. Everybody predicted doom for the Rams. There's a possession will stay the same way. As soon as Tribblehorn and Shippen leave, people just felt that they would be in trouble. That hadn't been the case at all. Meredith and Tryon are pulled in.
Matt Sharp, Tracy Jordan coming in. Eric Freehoff will go out, and Andy Anderson, who's diving around the floor and playing a solid game, checks out. CSU down by 5 to North Carolina. Chilcutt, good pass inside. Sharp runs it down. Handles it like a foreign object for a moment. And gives off to Meredith.
Just like a tournament game. I'm not talking about a preseason tournament, a post-tournament game. Look at the coaches.
Jordan, he can shoot it. Hines had a notion. Jamie Hines, he's quick.
Chilcutt making it very difficult to get it to Mitchell inside. They've been denying pretty well. There
Good kick. Mike Mitchell, 16-footer, won't buy, gets his own rebound, and he gets rejected underneath, but picks up the foul. Mike Mitchell, senior from Los Angeles, fouled by Chilcutt. That'll be the second on Pete.
Guy who knows where the basketball is when it's shot is the shooter. He goes and picks up the rebound. Mitchell has been big in the first period. Has been tough because Chilcutt has done a nice job denying the ball. Only the 1 year of eligibility for Mike Mitchell. He played at Fresno State. Saw Fresno on a tube the other night versus UCLA, and they made mention many times of Tiny Grant, the job he did at the school.
Tiny's assistance is taken over there. There's Lynn Tryon coming in from Mark Meredith. Mike Mitchell, 79% from the line in the year. Mitchell has 7 points.
There's Tiny, coach at Southern Idaho. Won it all. The junior college there. Then it was at Fresno. Got out of coaching for a couple of years. Now back at his alma mater. Played it then Colorado A&M. Played for Jim Williams. And then he coached for Jim.
15-12. Tar Heels by 3. King Rice against Jamie Hines. That's a good matchup with two fine-looking athletes.
Nice.
Williams misses the lob, gets it back, and easy 2. Scott Williams has 8. He averages 12.5. Senior campaign. He's from Hacienda Heights, California. And he will be in the NBA next year. Count on it. Mitchell has a man if he needs it. High off the glass. Had his own rebound for a moment, then it goes out of bounds off of him.
Boy, they're competing on those backboards.
Really hasn't been a huge advantage rebound-wise early for Carolina. And I believe we have a timeout on the floor.
This December, things are really heating up. Heating up at every GM.
Carolina by 5, Mile High Classic from McNichols Arena, along with Irv Brown. I'm Drew Goodman. There's Tiny Grant, head coach of Colorado State. 10th all-time among active coaches in winning percentage. Field goal percentage, CSU been shooting it better than 60%, down at 38. Carolina has really been sluggish shooting it. Done a nice job tonight. Williams has it picked clean by Tryon. Mitchell, Hines, ahead of the field. Milt blows the layup. And then he gets it back.
Yeah, you got to love that. Even though he doesn't get the shot down, he keeps battling along with Mitchell, and they get the chores done there.
Jordan against Denny. Now Mitchell with it against Chilcutt.
Good intensity, both sides.
Sharp. Ball goes out of bounds. It'll stay CSU basketball. There's King Rice, who is evidently fine after re-jamming his wrist earlier. Mark Meredith will come back. Andy Anderson, Eric Freehoff also back in. Sharp, Hines, and Jordan will go to the bench.
Well, the scorer wants to talk to Brent Smith. Now they're ready to go. Or are they? Somebody didn't report, they're saying. Everybody reported.
I want to hear an amazing statistic about Dean Smith's teams. In the last 19 years, every year they've shot better than 51% from the floor. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, it really is.
This year they're at 49. Most teams would take 49. Skip pass, Anderson. He can shoot it from 3, and he hits it.
He's had a big first quarter, or first half, I should say. I'm saying quarter because Penn State in football leading BYU 22-13 in the third.
Williams faces up and misses it, and Anderson has the rebound go off his chest, and Chilcutt makes him pay. Chilcutt with his first points. He's from Utah, Alabama.
He's a bigger guy too, Drew.
4-point ball
a little
game.
bit of Mark Allery.
Yep, here's the trap. Dean Smith makes it so difficult for offenses to read who's open because of the changing defensive look. King Rice looks to push it. Whistle away from the ball. Offensive foul. Madden working hard on Mark Meredith trying to gain position, and they whistle it on Kevin.
Watch him down low. I like him much better down low. In this situation, he gets the offensive foul here. Didn't really see it.
14 fouls on Colorado State, 3 on North Carolina. Meredith against Hubert Davis. It's been a pleasant surprise for Dean Smith. Here's Mitchell, good position, off the glass and in.
What a pass, though. The pivot foot is on the left, is the left foot this time, and that's exactly where Anderson throws the basketball. That was your fundamentals.
Mitchell with 10 points. The crowd coming alive. CSU within a bucket. Fox needs help and finds it in Denny. Scott Williams, little jump hook. Boy, he is tough inside. 10 points for Williams. Game clock, lower right-hand part of your screen. 4-point lead for the Tar Heels. No backcourt, obviously, because the ball was deflected by a North Carolina player. Shot clock at 22. Anderson against Fox, 2 6-7 players. Tryon, good pass down low, and Mitchell is accosted there by George Lynch, the freshman.
Pick up the action in the paint. This is where the games are usually decided. They compete pretty good. Carolina kid gets called for a hold. 14 fouls on the Rams, 3 on North Carolina.
4 now.
They put it up.
And Kenny Harris checks in. He's a freshman guard from Petersburg, Virginia, number 4. Kenny, lower left-hand portion of your screen. Anderson, fresh 45 for CSU. Anderson looks to drive and a block. Rick Fox didn't like it, and he headed after Bryn Smith.
All right, let's see if they grab here. Well, there's the push by Anderson. The first foul, however, was on Fox. There's Dean Smith.
Very
you know what?
close to
The
Doug
guy
Moe.
has done it the right way. You talk about Doug Moe, you're absolutely right. The reason Doug Moe is a coach because of Dean Smith. Smith stayed on him, made him go back to school. Doug Moe was selling insurance. I can't think of a worse insurance salesman in the world than Doug Moe. There's the foul.
You might be right there. Eric Freehoff fouled by Fox again.
All right, let's pick up the pass there. There's the cut. Carolina protects the hoop. There's the foul.
This is the MO on Rick Fox. He's a very talented player, but he's prone to make foolish fouls, and that was one. Freehoff had the easy layup. He's going to make him earn it from the line. Freehoff's done a nice job from the stripe this year, 82%. The moment you mentioned that, guy hits the back of the iron. Tracy Jordan has come back in. Mike Mitchell will take his first rest. 21-17, 6:55 to go in the first half from McNichols Arena. Normally the home of the Denver Nuggets. They're on the road tonight, Reunion Arena against the Mavericks. Or excuse me, that's tomorrow night. Davis, Fox, hit a 12-footer for a moment. There's a steal by Tryon. He's ahead of Chilcutt. He goes up and jams it.
Boy, that's an athlete.
Boy, that is an athlete.
And the crowd's going wild. It's a one-point game.
And everybody on their feet there. Lynn Tryon, a guard at 6'3", flew in.
Will you listen to this crowd?
Kenny Harris calling out set play number 2. Rams are in a matchup zone now. Harris penetrates, short jumper. The wobbler won't go. Big rebound by Anderson.
Rams can get the lead.
That's right. CSU down by 1. They can go ahead. Meredith settles to Freehoff. They swing to Anderson. He's free. Pulls up off the glass short. Fox. Open court to Davis. 1-on-2. Deflected out of bounds. Meredith. Fred Litzenberger, the defensive coordinator for the Rams. This is his kind of ball game. Both teams play very tough defense. He'd love the game if it was 8-7 at the end, wouldn't he?
Let's pick up Lynn Tryon, the kid with so much athletic ability. He was recruited by Nebraska for football. He was that good a wideout. Goes up, jams at home.
You know, with the guy on his back, he never had a thought about laying that in.
Yeah, you're right.
He was jamming it the whole way.
Yeah, listen, he's on national TV. You don't lay it in, right?
That's right. That was 6'3" and I could jam. A lot of ifs in that equation. 21-20. Tar Heels by 1. Inside 5.5 minutes to go. Williams 12-footer.
That was a great triangle between Madden, Rice, and Williams. They do know what they're doing on offense, don't they?
Now a little three-quarter court token pressure. Mitchell's back in for the Rams. He's their leading scorer with 10. Anderson hits Mitchell. Foul, and let's see if it was in the act. I think they're counting the basket. I believe they're counting the basket. Let's see.
No, the out official's got to call that. They'll shoot 2.
They're shooting 2.
Unless the out official calls that. Pros, the underneath official, call it. There's a shot. Well, you can make a case. This big guy named Minifield down in New Mexico, every time somebody shot, he did that, and he gave you a decision. Couple of pitches coming.
Scott Williams with his first personal foul. Boyd Grant working the gum, working the sideline.
There have been 3 20-win seasons at CSU or Colorado A&M, both the same schools. Tiny owns 2 of them. He's only been there 2. The other goes to Bill Stranigan. Won over 20 in 1954 and then took the Iowa State job.
If you're not familiar with Colorado State's program, Grant's first year, 2 years ago, they went to Final Four of the NIT, finished 3rd. Last year, they knocked off Florida in the first round of the NCAAs by 22 points, and then they fell to Syracuse by 15 in the second round. They won the WAC conference. Jump hook, rolls around, doesn't go. Contested, Davis underneath, puts it back in, but let's see. He stepped out of bounds, no basket. And the Rams again will have a possession with a chance to go ahead. And we have a timeout on the floor. 4:53 to go. 23-22, North Carolina by a... They've only been at home at the Dean Center twice. They did play 1 ball game in Charlotte. And CSU is the 7th opponent of their 12 ball games this year. 12 teams they've played. They went to the NCAAs last year. So he'll play anybody, anywhere. And he believes that'll get him ready for the ACC. Mike Mitchell takes the basketball up. CSU, 4:50 to go in the ball game. A chance to go ahead. They led early 4-0 and 6-2. Anderson,
nice
good seal, and Williams was over the back on Eric Freehoff. It'll be the second personal on Williams, and the Tar Heels are over the limit.
Here it is. Freehoff had him sealed down. Dean Smith wanted him for a pin, throwing that elbow. Doesn't happen that way. Over the limit, that is, and some free throws coming.
Let me ask you a question. Scott Williams has pulled down 700 rebounds in his career at Carolina. Most schools, that'd probably be, you'd be #1 in the books. He's 14th. Lynn Tryon comes in for Mark Meredith.
Excuse me. If I'm Dean Smith, there's a lot of things I'm proud of. National championship, Michael Jordan, but I'm guessing I'd be most proud of 1976, the Olympics, and 4 of the players are mine. My own from North Carolina.
Not all bad.
Yep.
Did you know just about every player under Dean Smith graduates? And they get good educations, obviously. North Carolina, one of the premier schools in the country. Rice is short, and we have a whistle underneath. Good position down low by George Lynch. Might get Mike Mitchell for going over the back. That's exactly what we have. Be second personal on Mitchell, who has 12 points. Williams goes out. There's Scott, who's an excellent student in the classroom. So it's nice to report that. Madden is back in. Here's Fox.
Look at the awareness of Freehoff underneath where the basketball is.
Fox a three-pointer. He's long there. 23-22. Tar Heels by 1. Again, another opportunity for CSU to bounce ahead.
Rams did something there that's unique. In a zone, normally you don't block out. People just lose track. Everybody bodied up somebody and blocked out. It was an easy board.
Freehoff trying to find help. He's going to have to put it on the floor himself. There's Lynn Tryon.
Everybody, every time we watch CSU play, Freehoff can shoot all night long because the scouting report says he can't score. He really can't from the top of the keyhole. There it is.
That's his shot.
Spot.
See, Herb, you called it.
That's his spot. That guy's automatic. I want him on my side in a game of horse. Just make him shoot that one.
Chilcutt back to Rice.
You know, there's such a myth about shooters. Everybody said T.R. Dunn couldn't shoot. T.R. Dunn from the corner was a good shooter.
Good cut and a missed layup by Fox, and then he misses the follow. He has a third opportunity, still no good. Madden has it. Carolina will have 4 opportunities on this trip.
That killed this guy's percentage. There's number 4 himself.
Yeah. And he gets it, and he gets an extra point out of it. Three-pointer for Rick Fox. Those are his first points of the ball game, and he's averaging a little over 14.
Bill Guthridge, Dean Smith talking. They sent in a sub. Bill Guthridge applied for the University of Colorado basketball job in the mid-70s when it was open. Another guy in this building applied for that job, Tiny Grant.
Didn't get it that time, huh? Anderson, three-pointer. He hit his first opportunity. That one won't go. Madden comes away with the carom. Ahead of the field is Lynch, and he misses the jam. George Lynch, the freshman. Hines will pull up. His three-pointer off. Freehoff keeps it alive.
Lynch got a little off balance, but give Tracy Jordan some, Andy Anderson some credit.
Jamie Hines skips it to Tryon. Game clock at 2 minutes to go first half. Tar Heels by a bucket, 26-24. Hines, he'll try again from 3. Bottom of the net, Jamie Hines.
The rotation was perfect that time.
CSU goes back on top by 1. Rice penetrates, gives it back to Fox. Now he really wants to fire the threes. Lyons knocked down by his own man. Cardinal sin almost committed by Freehoff, saving it under his own basket.
Look at the speed. What a move. That's the best move I've seen Jamie Hines make this year.
What a delay off the dribble, and it's a 3-point lead for the Rams with 1:20 to go in the half.
And Drew, you make a great point. The way to beat an opponent when he's caught up, slow down. He'll slow down. Then you jet.
He certainly jetted there. Madden misses. Freehoff has it. The Rams, with the crowd on their feet, can go up by 5. Very close to home. It's a neutral site. As I mentioned, just an hour from Fort Collins, where CSU is located.
Here's Tiny's strategy here. With under a minute left, you know you're not going to get the last shot, but make sure you go in with the lead unless they hit a three-pointer. In other words, take the clock down as low as you can, even if you don't make the shot.
Turnaround by Mitchell. He misses everything. Rice has it 3-on-3. He tries to get it ahead. A foolish pass by King Rice. Plenty of time now on the clock. Anderson spins in. Is fouled, and he'll go to the line for 2. Dean Smith wanted to travel. Boyd Grant looked away. And we have 33 seconds to go, and it's 29-26.
Here's the guy after his performance in Missoula, Montana, was in the doghouse totally. He played 1 minute in a game against Cal Fullerton. very little.
He didn't play at all against Baylor.
Baylor. And then North Texas State, he saw a little bit. And tonight he looks terrific. CSU has been more aggressive than North Carolina the last 2 minutes. That normally doesn't happen. You very seldom see North Carolina get roughed up or out-hustled. It just doesn't happen.
Carolina was up 17-12 a while back. Now 29-26 Rams. Anderson's first is off. 73%er from the line. I asked him earlier today, I said, this is a bigger one than usually. Goes a lot bigger.
Oh, last shot coming up.
That's right. Sharp had Anderson if he had turned around on the back door. But Mark Meredith will settle it down. The shot clock is turned off. 23 seconds left on the game clock in the first half. Jordan.
Emotional. Oh, nice.
Got to take that shot. There's the follow by Anderson. Sharp missed. Anderson followed. 5-point lead. Largest of the ball game for CSU. 7 seconds to go for King Rice.
Here's their 4 corners.
He penetrates and it'll drop.
Phil Ford did that so many times when there was no clock. He totally controlled the game.
And that doesn't count. We're at intermission. 31-28. Colorado State on top of Dean Smith's Tar Heels, and the crowd really appreciates the job the green and gold have done here. But a whole 20 minutes still to play. Mike Mitchell has 12 to lead CSU. 7 roll at the end of the half. They lead by 3 over Dean Smith's North Carolina Tar Heels. The Rams are coached by Boyd Grant. Earlier, our Norm Jones had a conversation with him.
Boyd Grant of Colorado State University has joined us, and Tiny, it's great to have CSU and CU here in the Mile High Classic. And for your program, I know it's important to come down to Denver and have an opportunity to play.
Well, Norm, I think the big thing is that the state of Colorado, I have felt at least that basketball has dropped off a little bit in the enthusiasm, and I think the only way you get it back is to play in Denver. We have a lot of great fans here, and there's graduates of both CU and Colorado State, and hey, if we could get that enthusiasm back, I think that would even would come right back to our high schools, and we need that enthusiasm back in our high schools. So it's a big chance for us, and of course playing a great team like North Carolina. I hate to even think about that.
Well, it's the first time you've, in all of the games that you've coached coached against North Carolina.
Right, and the thing that I feel about North Carolina is that this is the first team that probably has more talent than we do, and this year. And so this is a great challenge for us, and I just hope our kids are up for it, and that we play a good game, and we go out there to win and challenge North Carolina.
A great learning experience for your kids, I suspect, when you play a traditional program.
Well, I think a lot of times, we can put them on a pedestal where you can't reach, and it can hurt you psychologically. But I'm one that I admire North Carolina. I admire Dean Smith because I think that his program has been one without controversy. Mm-hmm. I think he's been someone that we can look up to and see a real winner and doing it the right way.
You certainly have done a lot of things the right way as well at Colorado State. You win the WAC last year, NCAA tournament. This year you're off to a good start. You've got good experience. You've got to be pleased with the way things have gone so far this year. Yeah,
my wife has been able to have a nice home and eat well. But really, Norm, I have been pleased. I never dreamed, I think, even in taking the job that, we could get to the Final Four in the NIT and play good teams like Ohio State and Boston College, and then last year have the opportunity to go to the NCAA. And one of my biggest thrills has been winning the WAC, because I was a player also that played in the old Skyline, which is part of the WAC now. And Norm, I have to tell you that it was a big thrill the night we won it at BYU.
What about this year and your feelings about winning the WAC? Perhaps not the choice of everybody, but you look awfully strong.
Well, I think the thing that would have to happen for us is we'll have to win a couple probably early on the road. And Norm, we have really had a big transition in personnel. And so, hey, if we won it again, I sure would feel good during the summer.
Oh, well, I'll tell you. Well, it's great to have this Mile High Classic leading into the Final Four here in Denver later on.
Yeah, and it's such good competition. I think at least we'll get a real test of where we are as a basketball team.
Thanks, Tiny. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you, Norm.
Boyd Grant of Colorado State University. More basketball coming up.
Everybody, and it's been a good one through the first half as Colorado State leads North Carolina 31-28 as we've reached halftime. I'm your host, Norm Jones. Hope you're enjoying tonight's game. You know, Irv Brown said it earlier. This is like a playoff game, an outstanding first half. Both these teams coach defense. Both these teams played very well defensively in the first half, and both are well-coached teams all the way around, and it's been a good one so far. North Carolina, of course, ranked 24th in the country coming in, but Colorado State giving them all they want. Let's take a look at the leading scorers for the Tar Heels. Williams with 12 points, by far and away leading the way for the Tar Heels. Rice with 4. And Madden with 3, the top 3 scorers. And Scott Williams has done a great job. The senior has really dominated, at least as far as North Carolina is concerned, on the offensive end. He gets way up for this one and jams it home for 2 of his 12. And he's a guy that really can fill the bucket. We get another look at Williams here. And Williams will make a move and go down the paint and let it go up off the glass, and 2 more of his 12 points. We'll get a third look at Williams. This is a turnaround push shot that falls as well, and he's done a great job. For Colorado State, Mitchell leads with 12 points, Anderson with 7, and Hines with 5. So Mitchell leads the way, the senior for Colorado State University. And let's take a look at some of Mitchell's work offensively as he will get the basketball low and goes up underneath and dishes off the glass for 2 of his 12 points. And now we'll get a look at Anderson. Anderson, who is the second leading scorer for CSU. He gets a nice feed and up off the glass. And Colorado State going toe-to-toe with North Carolina. 31-28. The Rams lead the Tar Heels 31-28. Doug Moe, the head coach of the Denver Nuggets, has graciously joined us. And Doug, why in the world are you here? I mean, I know you're going to Dallas. You've left your team tonight. You're going to Dallas tomorrow morning. It must be Dean Smith.
Well, I had to look after Smitty. It's kind of tough. I got to root for Carolina. I don't have any choice, but I'll root for Colorado State in every other game. So, well, Smitty has to look after me. He needs a lot of help himself. It's a pretty good game. Both teams are playing tough. They're both competitive. They're both well coached. They're struggling getting the ball in the basket a little bit, but other than that, they're playing tough. I think it's going to be one of these games that goes right down to the wire, which means someone will blow the other one out.
Now that you predicted that. You know, Irv Brown said earlier, I happened to hear him say in the first half that it was really Dean Smith that got you into coaching. He got you back into school so you could get your education, and then you're smart enough to go into coaching.
You want to know something? I was dumb enough. That's the only thing I could do. But that's the truth. Smitty got me back into school. I would have never finished school. I mean, he's done so much for me, I can't even begin to tell you. But that's the first thing Irv ever got right, isn't it?
I think you're right.
But it's, you know, he's just, not only is a great coach, great person, he's just unbelievable what he does for his players and everything. And like I said, you can tell both teams are well-schooled defensively and offensively. Even though they're struggling getting the ball in the basket right now, they're both playing terrific. And I'm looking forward to the second half.
You're going to stick around and watch the second half. You're not going to go home, go to bed.
No, well, I can sleep all day tomorrow.
Just go to the airport. What is it about North Carolina, though? Everything seems to be done so well. Not only are they one of the top programs, but everybody seems to graduate. They just do a great job.
Well, you know, Smitty's been there for so long. He's just built that program. You know, they hung him in effigy his first to second year. That was my favorite year. I loved it. And he had to overcome that. He had a very tough start, and he's just built the program. And, you know, it's something like Carolina is just so big. Everyone thinks about going to Carolina. Everyone all the North Carolina and North Carolina fans, that's what you kind of want to see here. You want to see CU, CSU. You want that same feeling that Carolina. You go to Carolina, and I mean it's big, and that's what we want here. I mean, when it gets like that here, then I think it'd be just fantastic.
Appreciate you coming by, Doug. Thanks very much.
My pleasure, Norm.
And let's go downstairs again. We'll go courtside. Drew Goodman and Herb Brown.
Okay, thanks very much, Norm. Thanks very much, Doug Moe. You know, Dean Smith's first job at Carolina was making sure Doug Moe went to class. That was a tough assignment.
That'd be a tough assignment. You got that right.
Let's check out the first half numbers. And both teams very similar shooting it from the floor. Colorado State was down around 30% early. They shot it better towards the end of the half. They could be up by more with the free throw advantage that they have.
Yeah, they missed some shots, and that hurts. Take a look at that second page. Look how even the boards are. Something that was an absolute must for CSU if they're going to compete as we look at the rest of it. Look at Jamie Hines, though. I just thought he came in and did a great job. And
look at that hesitation. Crossover dribble.
Yep. Nice move. Little finger roll. Down she goes.
Here we go. Back live. Carolina inbounds. They get it to Williams. They'll start with it down by 3. Madden gets it to Fox. Baseline shut off. Williams.
Is he big or is he big?
He's very big. Fox, he's short. And a stick back inside. Actually, a rebound. And then Williams followed up.
Madden with a touch. I guess you want to call it touch pass, but Madden's limping. He came down on the side of his foot. They're going to get him out of there right now.
He was limping in the first half a bit. Mark Meredith with it. He starts in the backcourt with Lynn Tryon. Up front for the Rams, Andy Anderson, Mike Mitchell on the backdoor cut, who has it now. And is short, but he was fouled by Williams. And that'll be number 3 on Scott. In addition to Mitchell and Anderson up front, Eric Freehoff.
Ball is on the ground, and Mitchell hustles it. There's 3 shirts around him. There's the foul. Let's look at the other end, though, and watch the pass by Madden. He's got the rebound, and then he just taps it. It's one of the better touch passes you'll see.
It's great awareness. Here's Mitchell, has 12 points, now 13. He's averaging 20 and a half a game and 8 rebounds.
You know, this is really a tribute to North Carolina's program, though, how hard CSU comes out and play. And I think you see that every night. People want to beat Dean Smith. They want to beat North Carolina because of the respect.
Sure, it's like Notre Dame in football. Everybody gets up for them. It's the biggest name on just about every team's schedule.
Well, you know, and people forget, right now, Dean Smith selects, he doesn't have to recruit. They're going to fire him after the first year. You know, people were unhappy. He takes over for Frank McGuire. He's paid his dues. He's been there almost 30 years. It wasn't all cake in the beginning.
Meredith with the weak side board. He goes against King Rice. Into the ball game, Hubert Davis at another guard.
I just saw Walter Davis, his uncle. He said, what do you think? I said, I think the kid is a pretty good basketball player, and he is. I like his actions.
Mitchell fall away. Freehoff contest comes down to Rick Fox. Here's King Rice with it. Pull up from 8 for Davis. That looked a little bit like his uncle, didn't it?
Nobody looks like his uncle. Come on, Drew.
All right.
Walter Davis is amazing. He's, what, 35? He still fills it up, and he gets it off quick.
You know, many people around the country might not realize it, but if I was voting for 6th man of the year right now, I might just vote for Walt Davis.
I like the way he's come back in his life, too. He's really got it together.
And one of the real nice guys going in the NBA.
That's the time of day for everybody. They love him here in Denver.
2 minutes into the second half, 1-point lead for CSU, now up to 3. And that man has played a very good ball game, Andy Anderson.
You know, he played well and very effectively against Syracuse in the regional a year ago. He seems to play better against better ball clubs.
Yeah, at 15 against Syracuse in that 60-45 loss. Jumper by Chilcott's off. Williams contests hard, loses it, and it'll be Colorado State basketball. In the lineup right now, up front for Carolina, Chilcott at 6'9", Williams at 6'11", and also Fox, who's 6'7".
I like when Dean gets after the stripes. He does it with class. He's supposed to. You gotta get after it a little bit, don't you? Penn State leading BYU 35-26. 12 minutes left in the ballgame.
Boy, it could be another 40-point score in that one. Tryon jumper. He's off. He remains cold. Mitchell gets the rebound because two Carolina players went up and knocked it away from each other.
What a gift. 5-point lead for the Rams.
Matches the largest of the game. Mitchell has 16. He leads all scorers. Lob. Williams. Boy, he makes it look so easy. He has great hands and very soft touch within 8-10 feet.
Drew, as they come up the court, number 2 Kansas beat Pan America 103-83. And I bring that up because Roy Williams is coaching there. He was with Dean Smith for years in North Carolina. This is one of the better young coaches we've ever had. You talk about moving the basketball and getting the most out of your talent. That's what Williams has done with Kansas.
Mitchell hits a three-pointer. He has 19 now, and it's his 11th 19-9er of the year. And Carolina loses it at the other end. Rams up by 6, can go up by more. 16:21 to go, and Dean Smith sends Madden back in. He sends freshman George Lynch, a 6'7" forward, back in. Coming out, Scott Williams and also Rick Fox.
Here's the value of Mitchell. He's bringing the ball down the court, and Dean Smith had to get Williams out of there because Mitchell will take you to school out front with a big guy. He's not going to come out.
Tryon gets it to Anderson against Lynch. Entry pass knocked away. King Rice reached around. Good defensive play by the 6'1" junior. And we have a whistle before and pushing off on Lynch, trying to get position on the blocks.
Gordon Burke with the call. Let's pick it up. Down low. There's the contact right there. That's what Gordon Burke sees.
Tough call on George Lynch, and that's number 3 on the freshman from Roanoke. 15:45 to go. CSU led by 3 at halftime. They're up by 6.
2-3 zone. Let's see how Tiny fights it. They step up. That's the key. You step up to your gaps. Skip past it and then step up. Nice.
That's a good pass. Free off back to Anderson. He had the shot, tossed it up. Tryon still won't go. Free off. Offensive rebound, and he misses the gimme. He gets a second opportunity. It counts.
Can you believe it?
Eric Freehoff with a second opportunity after blowing the easy layup.
First one doesn't go down. Freehoff really battling on the boards, and rebounding is strictly determination. Got an easy one, doesn't go. It actually pays off for CSU because of the foul count and the opportunity to make it a 3-point play. 8-point lead.
And George Lynch has 4 personals. And Freehoff makes it 9. 9-point lead for the Rams of Colorado State. But plenty of basketball still to come. Hubert Davis. He's being pressured hard by Anderson. Madden with it now. Settles back up to Chilcutt. Lob inside, and a personal will be coming on Andy Anderson. He reached over the top trying to deny the pass to Madden.
First team foul
on Anderson. Yeah, you're right. First team foul on Colorado State, 3 on the Tar Heels. Anderson has to be careful here, and we'll take a timeout. 15 minutes even to go from McNichols Arena. The Mile High Classic, North Carolina trailing. Heels are down by 9. Dean Smith trying to figure a way to come up with career victory number 675. He has won 75% of the basketball games he's been involved in as a head coach. That's incredible. Fox, 18-footer, looks good, doesn't buy. He gets his own rebound, gets fouled, and he'll have an opportunity to cut it to 6.
There have been so many good forwards at the University of North Carolina. Look at this guy follow his shot. The ball doesn't go, but once again, the guy who shoots the basketball usually knows where it's going to wind up if he doesn't make it. So Fox can cut this thing down to 6. Mitchell with 19 points, Williams with 18. They're the leading scorers. Fox is the leading rebounder in the game. He has 7.
Freehoff off against Mitchell, against Williams. Hines is in the ball game now to guard. He's working against Lynch, and Lynch is working with 4 fouls.
That's legal. Nobody.
Oh, Lynch touched it.
Dean Smith wants the count. Nice backdoor and a good effort by Williams. Williams deflected, or else you got a layup there for Mitchell.
Dean Smith didn't like the call, thought it should go the other way. Rams will run a set play out of the underneath inbounds. Meredith from 22 feet. It's there.
This guy's stoned.
A 10-point lead, largest of the game.
All the way. Freehoff is riding him on a hip.
Freehoff has his second personal, and it'll be the 3rd team foul on Colorado State. That's what the Tar Heels have. And Matt Sharp will check back in. It's George Lynch. Does he look like a player? Remember that turnaround jumper in the first half?
Yeah.
There's Freehoff, a guy who Benny Dees of Wyoming says is the best role player in the Western Athletic Conference. Seldom shoots it. Just knows his role.
Well, he wasn't playing very effectively early, but he has been of late.
Hines tries to recover. Williams spins, goes up, and was hacked. So Scott Williams really working hard. Down about 6 feet from the basket on the baselines, fouled by Matt Sharp.
Rams had excellent team defense going. Sharp takes away the baseline. He was really going to shoot this basketball, though, regardless. And there's the contact, both with the hip and the arm. 10-point lead, 13:53 left in the ball game. Williams at the line.
One of the few deficiencies in Scott Williams' game is that he's only at 60% from the stripe. He has 17 now tonight. 4th all-time in blocks.
You need more games like this early in the year, don't you, for everybody?
This is
excitement.
Yeah, you said it earlier. This is a tournament caliber game as far as the way the teams are playing and the intensity, the crowd involvement.
Neutral court.
Sure.
Neutral court is everything in college basketball.
Mike Mitchell at 6'8", bringing it up the floor. Anderson drives baseline.
Beautiful. Oh,
tough move. And King Rice comes away with it. Fox against Hines, pulls it back down. Rice, a 20-footer. Won't go. Big rebound, Andy Anderson.
Would you say that was a pretty good decision by Boyd Grant to start Anderson?
Looking that way, isn't it?
How will his numbers look if you start 2 weeks ago? 1 minute play, DNP the next time?
Hey, there's never been a question about his ability. Oklahoma wanted him. Oklahoma State wanted him.
Well, the guy can jump up and touch the square as he hits a jumper. He touched the top of the square, but he wasn't rebounding early in December. And that's why they sat him. In fact, Tiny Grant said in the newspaper, I played him 1 minute against Fullerton. He said that was 1 minute too long.
You don't want to get on Tiny's bad side.
Nice.
Good look to Williams. He misses the short shot. And who comes away with it? Meredith. 10-point lead. Mitchell just stood there. Williams pumped twice. 6'11", you think maybe he could go up over. Mitchell bangs a 3, and the Rams are up by 13.
Dean Smith will take a time. No, I thought he was going to take a timeout. The attendance tonight, 10,280.
Good crowd. Considering the University of Colorado has a lot of people in the Orange Bowl down south. Chilcutt, offensive rebound. Then he's long on the shot. Sharp loses it. Out of bounds. 12:07 to go in the ball game. Colorado State 51-38 over the Tar Heels of North Carolina. And Anderson receives a big and well-deserved round of applause. He has played his tail off. There's Anderson, a senior, 6'7", from Ada, Oklahoma. Lynch has it, working against Hines. Freehoff is back in for the Rams. Tracy Jordan also in, and Denny is in at a point guard for the Tar Heels.
The Rams continue to play excellent team defense. They're going to scramble. Watch Freehoff in the middle. He's key to everything by being aware of where the basketball is versus his opponent.
Hubert Davis has it.
Look at that.
Denny doesn't shoot that much. Davis will shoot one. He's short. Fox contests, and a foul outside.
That's not a good foul. You don't want to hit somebody after they release it. You got to give that shooter some protection. A lot of people say, why do you call a foul in this situation? Because he's up in the air, and it's no different than when a field goal kicker is extended. You can tear the knee up.
Third personal. Colorado State is on a 20-10 run in this half. It's 31-28 at intermission.
Well, North Carolina can't buy one from the outside. Now's the time to make some hay.
And remember Dean Smith's 4 corners. Tiny Grant is the kind of coach, if he's up by 10, 12, 13, and this ball game gets around the 6-minute mark, he's going to really, or even before that, start eating most of that 45.
You know, Drew, you would think that, but I'll tell you what is on his mind going against Dean Smith. First of all, his momentum is sensational. Smith is one of the better coaches coming from behind when you try that and start that kind of stuff. I don't know if you disturb anything.
They're
Carolina
in the zone. They're in that 2-3 zone.
Now they'll look for trapping opportunities.
Jordan. Meredith, 20-footer, bottom of the net. He can really shoot it.
Got them long arms, doesn't he?
He's hitting 50% of his 3-pointers. He has 2 tonight and 8 in the game. Back cut, Davis to the glass. Tough layup, won't go, and a big rebound by Jordan. The native of Denver, Colorado, played his high school ball at George Washington here in town. 54-39, Rams by 15.
Big point guard, isn't it? That Mitchell?
NBA scouts have to love a guy at 6'8" who can handle the rock. Jordan, he's open. He's hit all of his threes this year. That barely got rimmed, though. And Boyd Grant said, why, Tracy? Why'd you take that shot? And here comes Scott Williams back. They have to start feeding him down low.
Well, you got to make the officials make a decision.
You've always told me that.
That's the key to the game. It's an inside game. And anytime you're in trouble, you got to make a decision.
King Rice comes back in for Jeff Denny. King had his...
You think Tiny's into this one?
Oh, boy. King had his career best against Kentucky, 22 points and 13 assists. Against Hines, this is Madden, lob to Williams, good catch. And he puts it on the bottom of the rim, but he was fouled from behind by Hines.
Sweet pass by Madden. Watch where Jamie comes from to help out. There's a good pass by Madden. There's the catch. Takes it to the ground. He's got an easy one. Jamie Hines takes it away. And Williams is not a cinch or a given at the free throw line.
No, so from that side of things, it's not a bad foul. But keep in mind now the Rams have 16 fouls. North Carolina only 3. Lynn Tryon comes back in for Hines. And if the Rams go over into the penalty, perhaps that will play a large factor down the stretch. Right now, CSU leads by 15. Drew Goodman and Irv Brown from McNichols Arena, Denver, Colorado. Scott's 2 of 3 now tonight. Dean Smith certainly looks concerned.
Watched him for a number of years. I've never seen panic. You don't know what's going on inside, but outwardly, those kids, they know that this guy is in charge.
You know, he's 7-4. He's never lost 4 ball games before the end of December in his career.
Yeah, that's right.
There's the story. CSU by 14. Mark Meredith played a big role in that here in the second half, hitting 2 3-pointers.
Gone back to man. They had a tough time with their zone because Meredith hit a couple of threes.
Good pass to Mitchell. Mitchell looks to penetrate. Wide open is Meredith, and he knocks it down.
He is killing. Mitchell is down. Mitchell is not getting up.
Mike Mitchell's down in the lane.
Well, let's see what this is. Let's see if he puts any weight on it. He penetrated, dishes to Meredith, sets up the outside shot. Watch it. And then he goes down. Oh, boy, both guys, major league collision. I don't think it's serious.
No, it doesn't look serious. It looks like one of those momentarily serious things.
Colorado State by 17. Layup. He's taken only 15 shots inside a three-point range. And I don't think he's hit the rim on any of his three-point attempts tonight. He has 11 points in the ball game. He has 3 19-9ers and a half, and CSU leads by 17 over North Carolina. Along with Herb Brown, I'm Drew Goodman. Norm Jones also with us. And look at that. Three-point field goals. CSU lighting it up.
It's one of the things we talked about before the game. That's a very important part of CSU's attack, to free up Mitchell underneath.
This was a three-point ball game at intermission. 31-28, Colorado State.
Look at the defensive pickup here, though, by CSU.
Stripped down low, and Meredith gets called by all three officials. Everybody had that one.
All right, let's pick it up. Meredith says he hits him on the hand. The hand is part of the ball. You can't tell from there. A couple of pitches coming.
And that also puts Colorado State over the limit. They're in the penalty now. 17 fouls. The Tar Heels with 3. And Williams, who is 3 of 4 tonight, from the line, is there again. That's a good-looking free throw. Scott Williams, majoring in radio, television, and motion pictures in North Carolina, wants to be a sportscaster after a professional career. He has them both. Tar Heels back to within 15. CSU.
Anderson gets ready to come back in. 9-10 left. 15-point lead for the CSU Rams.
They had a backdoor easy to Mitchell. He'll go up and lay it home.
Boy,
they gambled, they lost.
And Tryon took care of the ball, Drew.
Off-balance jumper won't go. Big rebound by a 6'3 guard, Lynn Tryon. And now Taino eats some clock. You mentioned earlier, Herb, Dean Smith has the utmost respect for Tiny Grant.
Sure he does.
He's one of the great coaches in the nation. Not a lot of people know about that east of the Mississippi. They don't contest Jordan. He could stand there all day, or at least for 40 seconds. Three-pointer's long, and that'll go over the top, so that's a turnover.
CSU bench is questioning it.
They said that it has to go, if it goes over the top, as I understand it,
it's out of bounds.
It's out of bounds.
Yeah.
And that was a good call.
The only way it can't be is when you have fan shape backward. We haven't used those in years.
I still use those. I have those, I have those in the backyard. I play on those. Rams by 17, 8:15 to go in the ball game. Carolina has not shot it well in the second half. And for most of the '89 season, they haven't shot it well. Good entry pass to Madden, and he blows a gimme. And that epitomizes the story for Carolina in the second half.
Yeah, they've had 3 or 4 puppies that just have not gone down. The pass.
Rick Fox, he had no idea. How about that? Tryon put it behind his head, brought it back, and Rick Fox was looking for it like you look for the quarter when your grandfather pulls it out of your ear when you're a kid.
Drew, I got to be honest with you. Watching CSU tonight, there hasn't been one kid that Tiny has used who hadn't contributed. They've all played very effectively. This guy's been great.
How about that? He just can fire from three-point range. A 20-point lead, CSU over North Carolina. Will this open some eyes tomorrow?
They're going wild here.
Jump hook doesn't go for Williams. Chilcutt contesting. Madden now. Clean strip. The Carolina Blue will have another opportunity.
Dean Smith will bring 4 new people in here.
We'll bring Kenny Harris and Jeff Denny at guards back in. He'll bring a small forward, Hubert Davis, in.
That was going to kill him, too. Team fouls. They've only committed 3. He's going to get that clock stopped. then you get a fresh 45. The team fouls now end up killing you.
Now they work against you. Also into the game, Lynch. Harris to Denny, 21-footer. It's there. Jeff Denny, the senior, nails one.
Boy, they missed a timeout. Dean Smith wanted a timeout. His kids didn't respond. He wanted to set up a press.
Now the clock winds inside 6:50. Freehoff, they have him trapped. He ducks under, dribbles, finds Jamie Hines. Mitchell loses it. And they get Freehoff for reaching in. Eric can't believe it. That's number 4 on the senior from Fort Collins.
Let's pick this up. Got a little sloppy at this end of the court. Freehoff makes the dive. Hard to really tell what goes on there. Shots coming here now. They've been in the bonus for some time. Meredith comes back. Meredith really, you hate to say the one guy has been the story, but he really has been the story in the second half. It's been a total team effort, and yet Meredith has hit 4 threes.
Andy Anderson comes out. Now on the floor, Meredith, Tryon, Freehoff, Mitchell, and Jamie Hines. And Kenny Harris at the line. Rick Fox will come back in. He's had a frustrated night shooting it. By the way, Kenny Harris is 0 for 4 at the line this year. He's only a freshman.
And one of the things that Dean Smith likes to do here, they hit both of the free throws. He likes to use a timeout. Well, it doesn't matter now.
He's now 0 for 5. And he didn't shoot that with any confidence. He lobbed that up towards the rafters and hoped it came down in the net. Tryon working against King Rice.
What you want if you're Tiny Grant is to take it all the way down to about 10 seconds, then get fouled. You get a fresh 45.
Meredith against Harris.
Remember, the foul count now is in CSU's favor.
There's the turnover. Harris, 3-on-2. He loses it. Meredith picks it up. That's a big turnover. Carolina could have trimmed it to 15.
The last 3 possessions have been interesting.
They've gotten turnovers their last 3 possessions, but they haven't converted on the other end. There's a reach in on Harris. That'll just simply be an out-of-bounds situation because it is only the 4th team foul on the Tar Heels. Dean Smith now gets Chilcutt back up, and Pete will enter the ball game. He's had a quiet night. He has a bucket, and that's all. He averages 9 points and 6 rebounds. And there's Andy Anderson back into the ball game. Anderson comes back with 11 points. He's got some skin off his knees. He's dove around the floor and played a great ball game. Mitchell penetrates, kicks it out to Meredith, and Meredith remains perfect in the second half from beyond 19-9.
I wonder how many layups this guy has versus 3-pointers in his career.
Yeah, I wouldn't take too many layups either if I could shoot it from 22, 23 feet like that. Lynch is fouled, and he'll go to the line.
You talk about a will breaker, though. You play some defense, and then this guy just steps up and pops one from the outside.
And you can't trade 2 for 3 on the other end. You got to go 3 for 0 if you're Carolina.
Yeah.
5:31 to go in the ball game. 4 personals now on Andy Anderson.
Let's watch Meredith's form. Wide open, you know, he's been so good against zones or in this situation. Look at the extension. You can see the bench in the background. They know it's dead. Everything the guy throws up is going in. He's a stone shooter tonight.
One of the big reasons Colorado State is 8-2 and looking towards 9-2 is the fact that from 3-point range, they shoot it at 47%.
If they make this, let's see if Dean uses a timeout now to set something up.
Lynch doesn't make it. Meredith has it. .520 to go in the game as Meredith gets it to Anderson. And that landed in the band area.
Freddie Litzenberger going wild. All right, Tiny Grant wants a timeout now.
I was kidding Freddie earlier in the week. I said, or earlier today, I said, Freddie, you must not have coached much this week because your voice, you still have a voice. He's usually hoarse. Rams by 19. Some 15 minutes ago, it was 31-28 Colorado State. They have really torn into Dean Smith's Tar Heels. They lead by 19. They've led by 20 several times, and Boyd Grant is a master at using the clock. It'll be a tall order for Carolina to come back, but if I were betting on one team or one coach who could evaporate a 19-point lead with 5:13 to go, be Dean Smith. And look at that shooting, the CSU 3-point wise. 5 of 5 is Mark Meredith. Fox has a 3-pointer. Lynch, and Meredith was over his back. George Lynch, I really like him. 6'7", 210-pound freshman who can jump out of the gym.
There's a little conversation at halftime when it's a 3-point game. Somebody said, would this be a bigger win than the win over Florida if they hang on? Well, without question. And even though Florida was an NCAA first-round game, you're still talking about North Carolina, and you're talking about Dean Smith.
That's right.
And the high regard that Tony Grant has for him.
You're talking about the guys they get are top 50, top 100 players in the country. Every year, those are the kids he's getting.
That was a good foul by Carolina because it stops the clock. There are no shots coming.
It's now the 5th team foul on Carolina. Fox has 3. CSU is over the limit. Now the pressure will be set up by Dean Smith. You know, we kid about the relationship Doug Moe and Dean Smith. They are very, very close.
They golf together every summer.
There's the reach in on Denny, and that's what he was told to do.
Still no shots coming.
Dean Smith wants to get his team into the penalty, so CSU has to go to the line and shoot 1-and-1s. And I imagine we will see the same thing we just saw on this next inbounds.
Well, it's his only chance now.
And you realize that Fox comes back in, Lynch comes back in. They had gone off momentarily. Chilcutt will come out, and Jeff Denny, the point guard, will come out for Dean Smith.
Gordon Burke's talking to Dean Smith.
4:56 to go. Tryon has it. There's the missed reach in by Rice. Still haven't fouled yet. Meredith works it against Kenny Harris. Got a 5-second going on him, and there it is. Bryn Smith calls a 5-second on Mark Meredith.
Thank you. He says thank you.
And that might be the only smile we see on Dean's face for a while. 4:38 to go in the ball game.
Let me tell you something. Pretty smart man. There's another day. He's able to catch one of these guys, or all of them, sometime down the road in a regional. This is a WAC crew. Fishanding's had nothing to do with this game. CSU has come out and played. North Carolina can't hit a shot, but CSU has come out and played. They've been terrific.
Foul underneath on Jamie Hines. That's number 3 on Hines. And at the line, Kenny Harris, who has not made a free throw this year. So if you're going to foul somebody, if you're Colorado State, that's the right man. King Rice is back in. Denny's out. Dean Smith is almost substituting on the fly a la hockey. Chilcutt comes out, and Lynch comes back in. Second half field goal numbers, Carolina 29%, Colorado State 63%. Folks, that's the story.
Ooh, that could be another Jerome Lane story at the free throw line.
Yeah, Harris has to get that straight now.
Yeah.
Those don't even look like they're close. Mitchell brings it across at 6'8". There's the reach in, and the reason that foul is more mentionable than ordinary is that it's the team foul number 7 on Carolina. So now it's a 1-and-1. Carolina is hoping that CSU throws up a lot of bricks on the front end. 4:20 left in the ball game.
You know, something else that that's worth mentioning. You could see something like this happening on your home boards. Just a neutral floor. The pros play here. CSU played here one
year ago. I don't remember the last time they played here, actually. They didn't play here last year.
No, they didn't play here a year ago. I'm incorrect.
They weren't in the Mile High tournament last year. Mitchell with 24 tonight, 5 straight games better than 20. Had a career high 30 against North Texas a few weeks back. Anderson nearly had the rebound. So that's exactly what Carolina wanted. Denny, and he's 2 of 2 now.
Here's the timeout.
Exactly right. Another timeout, and they'll set up their defensive press, and it's a 16-point lead for CSU. 4:09 to go. Well, the #1 ranked Colorado Buffaloes are job putting a guy out to 21-22 feet on Meredith in the first 20 minutes. Not so in the second 20.
I still believe, though, that the key statistic in this game will be the rebounds, because that was the #1 concern of CSU. You talk to Tiny, you talk to Fred Litzenberger. All right, let's see if they draw a charge now. They're pretty good at this.
Mitchell backs out, gets it to Anderson. Now Meredith has it. They have 10 seconds to get it across. And they do so nicely. Anderson now back out. That's not a good pass. Carolina will get an easy bucket. Fox will jam.
Let's see if he calls a timeout.
Yes, he does.
Let me tell you what, he's the
14.
best in America at this, Drew. Saves his timeouts and uses them right here when you're behind.
Colorado State Ram.
Rice gives it up, and the jam coming by Fox, and immediately they go to the timeout so they can set up the press. They're looking for a charge. First, they're looking for a 5-second count. Then they're looking for a charge. Then they trap. There's the rebound.
It's close enough that it's not a factor.
Well, and plus the percentage that CSU has shot and the percentage North Carolina has shot, you combine it with that. See, if you come out and get killed by 15 boards, and that's what CSU was concerned about deeply.
Here's the story. 65-51, Colorado State by 14. 3:51 to play. And here comes the Dean Smith Carolina pressure. They get it to Tryon. Good hands. He was a wide receiver. And they trap him and they foul him. Kenny Harris got him. 3 players converge. And now the key for Colorado State is to knock down some of these 1-and-1s.
Well, you got to hit the front end.
That's the most important shot.
Important. Can't come away blank. Now, you come away 1 for 2 when you're up by 14. Can't come away blank too many times.
Tryon is an 80%er from the line. He hasn't been at the stripe tonight, and he has only a bucket. He's in a shooting slump.
I'll tell you something, though. He's impressed me more tonight than maybe any other time with his floor game.
And he misses.
All right, see how quickly they shoot now. It's a pretty intelligent ball club. Shot clock at 41. I bet they get it off before 30.
Harris against Meredith. Lynch is doubled. He kicks it out. Nearly a steal. Fox, 3-pointer. He got it. And it's down to 11. 3:28 left. And again, a timeout by Dean Smith. And this is far from over. There's an eternity left.
They get the shot off with 30 seconds left on the clock after CSU had played excellent defense. Fox has been a pretty good-looking outside shooter tonight. Varies it. 1 timeout left now.
He has 3
North Carolina.
19 Niners tonight. Does Rick Fox. 10 points in all. 14-2 is his average. And CSU has to hit their 1-and-1s. The front end, as you mentioned. They have to protect the basketball. It's a great challenge for Tiny Grant's team. Carolina was down by 20 on several occasions. They've whittled back. Denny hit a 3-pointer. Fox hit a 3-pointer. There's Cam the Ram. I think he knows Colorado State's about to pull one of their bigger upsets in the history of the basketball program.
I don't even think he cares.
No, I don't, Irv.
I think he's just kind of relaxing.
I think you are pretty accurate in that assessment.
All right, let's see what kind of pressure. They will change defenses here, too.
Rams bring 3 guards to the lineup. This is a story game-wise. CSU better than 50%. Carolina back under 42. And keep in mind, for 19 straight years, Carolina has shot better than 51%. Mitchell with it. You got to get it across in 10. Anderson reach in on Fox. Here we go now at the 1-and-1 situation. CSU, by the way, has gone 2-15 without scoring a point. Meanwhile, Carolina has hit a couple of threes, and they're within 11.
Situational substitutions now all the way. Smith has put in a couple. Come down on offense. He's got 1 timeout left. If you score at the other end, once again, you use it.
You know, a former NBA player once told me about free throws. He said, go to the line. He said, nobody in China knows if you make or miss them.
Well, that's true.
So don't worry about it.
That's a big one.
That's a real
Lloyd
big
Grant,
one.
Big sigh. Got to get the front end. At least then you got something going.
So he goes 1 of 2. So they're up by 12. Now Tryon works against Denny. Denny's been hot from 3-point range.
See how quick they get it off now. 39 left on the shot clock. They'll try and go immediately. CSU's making it tough on them.
That's right. They're pressuring way out. Fox from 22 buries it. And it's down to 10, or excuse me, down to 9. Fox has kept him in it with his 3-point shooting.
Dean Smith has worked the officials every time on the timeout looking for a push-off. Let's see if anybody's listening. A lot of times you put in somebody's ear, it stays in the memory. Here's Fox. They've had a tough time with 3-pointers, and yet this guy has kind of shot them back into having a chance. There's still 3:04 left. That is the last timeout. You get one now, but it costs you a technical.
So 3:04 to play, and it's a 9-point ball. The biggest possession of the ball game for Colorado State, because without timeouts left, they need a bucket here. They need something happening on the offensive end.
They got to hit some free throws.
Because without it, Carolina no longer has to shoot threes. Mitchell. They get it to Tryon. He's got to get it across, and he does so easily.
Now North Carolina's got a foul.
Easy bucket backdoor. Mitchell has it. It's back up to 11. 2:52 to go.
That could do it.
Mitchell with 26. Rice trying to find help. Harris. Davis will force one, and it's short. Great job by Fox to keep it alive. Does he have another one in him? No. CSU basketball, and that might have done it. Dean Smith has no timeouts left, and his club is down by 11. Here's the pressure.
Boy, that was careless by Anderson. Got to break that time.
You got to shoot it in. It's funny how your elbows get a lot shorter in these situations. And there's a timeout deal. Colorado State with 3 to burn. What a luxury having a guy like Mitchell who can handle it at 6'8". The Carolina fans here, well, that's a hack. No question about it. King Rice came through Andy Anderson, filled the hole like a linebacker would. And Anderson will go to the strike.
They had the dive at the other end looking for the charge. Don't get it. There's the contact. Anderson, who hit 1 of 2 the last time.
Yeah, Irv, I was mentioning the Carolina fans wanted a double dribble on Mitchell, but the ball was swatted free, so he can put it back on the floor.
Big bucket came just under 3 minutes, so Mitchell got loose for an easy one.
He's got the front end. Andy Anderson tonight with 13, and again, kudos for his hustle. You're just joining us. He was in Tiny Grant's doghouse just a week ago. CSU by 13. 2:20 to go. Denny looking for an opening to fire. 24-footer off the mark. They keep it alive. Mitchell contests and has it. And there's a reach in. Let's see who they get. They get Denny. And it's all but over now. 2:06 to go. A 13-point lead for
Nobody's
CSU.
leaving. It's North Carolina. Nobody's leaving. All right, here it is. There's the reach in. Now a few people do believe it is over. Starting to walk out.
Dean Smith will probably fall to 7-5. But you know what? He's going to be right in the thick of things in the ACC.
He's been to the Final 16 so many times.
Fox needs a 3-pointer, and there's a foul. So Fox will go to the line 1-1. Jamie Hines buys his 4th. King Rice, Kenny Harris come back. Denny goes out. Davis goes out. No, Davis stays in. Meredith in trouble, and he calls a timeout. Smart play by the junior from Tucson. So there's 1:52 remaining. Colorado State.
Yeah, good point.
He has some answers now.
See, what I really find interesting about Tiny Grant, I've said this before, and forgive me, but what you get out of this man in December is a bonus because he's a February coach.
Jamie Hines knocked out of bounds by Davis, so they'll have an inbound play on the offensive side.
I'd say the key thing Grant did, though, was to start Anderson. I just believe they needed that side. There's another timeout.
1:45 to go. 7 seconds elapsed. 1 timeout remaining now, and it's still a 13-point lead for Colorado State. Shot clock when they inbound it will be 10,000 tonight.
It's such a nice story for Colorado State University, though, as we look at the rebound situation, because Tiny Grant was out of coaching. Oval James coaxes him to come back. A lot of people thought that that was it. Tiny wasn't going to coach anymore. He'd had some health problems. I believe the only reason he comes back is his alma mater. That's not a very good pass.
No, Mitchell fouled Fox before he could shoot.
All right, Dean Smith wants an intentional foul. Now, he never quits coaching. No. Intentional, you keep the basketball. You better have the right answers when he questions you if you're an official.
Did you get into it a few times with him?
Oh, yeah. Let me tell you what, he knows the book. Guys, knows how to work it.
Guy sitting to the left was a pretty good player himself, Phil Ford. This guy's a pretty good player, Rick Fox.
You're talking about Ford. He's a great collegian. People forget his early years with the Kansas City Kings, with Wedman and Birdsong and Lacey. Those guys were terrific.
He's a 3-time All-American. He made, when he was a professional, one of the great layups I've ever seen. Tryon's ahead of the field. He'll go up, and he was not fouled, and he's kept alive. Fox, no, stepped on the outside line. It's a big break for Colorado State.
How about the call by Grant, though? He's got 5 guys in front court, and then they throw the long one, the home run. I'm not sure he wanted Tim Tryon to shoot the basketball, though, when there are 2 people that close. Don't need to shoot. Need to run clock. Another timeout.
That's it. They're done with timeouts. 11-point lead, 1:38 to go.
He's been good.
I need that hockey.
Do you realize that it's taken us as much time to play the last 3 minutes as it did the first 37?
You're probably right.
Every timeout has been used.
That's right. But
intelligently, too.
That's right. Fortunately for the people at home and the people here, there are no more timeouts to call. Rams by 11. 1:38 to go. Anderson gets it in. Ball's out of bounds, and 1 second goes off the clock.
Well, they got to keep it spread. Tiny isn't very happy. You know, he doesn't think this thing is over. He's up 11.
It's not over. Gordon Burke wipes down the basketball and hands it to Anderson. They get it into Tryon. He's trapped in the corner. Good look to Mitchell. That's a great piece.
Wrap-around pass does it.
28 points for Mitchell. Rice has to throw up a 3, and he was fouled. Ooh, Lynn Tryon says, I was just standing right there. That could have been a big play had Rice knocked it down. Let's check it out.
Step up, NBA effort.
Hey, that's a great call.
Oh, it's there all the way, without question. It could have been a 4-point play.
And Grant's probably saying, stay on your feet. Don't get in the air. And Rice has them both.
All right, look at the pressure now. They'll try and draw the charge. First to 5 seconds. There's the difference when you don't have a timeout to get organized.
Anderson, they have to get it across. Hines finds Mitchell. There's nobody there. Mitchell will go up and jam tomahawk style. He has 30. That matches a career high. Harris at 3. That's off. And Mitchell has the rebound at the other end, and he's fouled immediately. 1 minute to go, and a 13-point cushion for CSU, and now they really sense it.
Some kind of win for this guy, isn't it?
It really is. Tim Jankovic on the right. He was quite a player himself at Kansas State. This is a pretty good jam also, huh?
Very good basketball player. Just a shame that you only get him for 1 year. People in Fort Collins would love to have this guy around for 3 or 4.
Do you know what a lot of the conversation has been up in Fort Collins? Imagine the team if they had Mitchell and Pat Durham, who's now playing for quite a bit of money in Spain. 6'8" forward.
Drew, I mentioned this to you earlier. I really believe this is a better team, though, than last year. I just think it can do more things. There's more depth. Now that Anderson is back, and I would say that that's a fair statement. Mitchell's done this every night out.
That's right. That's a new career high now for Mike Mitchell. He has 31.
Well, it's a big one.
Responding in big ball games.
Plus, I'll tell you something, it might just save the Mile High Classic. You needed a very, very big opponent in here. You got one in North Carolina. The reason they're stopping the clock is to tie a tennis shoe.
Or a basketball shoe. They wore tennis shoes when you were playing. Now,
well, that's
basketball. Hey, basketball, you have tennis shoes, all different shoes. Hey, that's a pretty interesting looking shot by Hubert Davis, but it counts, a three-pointer. And it's back to 12. Tryon.
Oh, that's not a smart pass. I'll tell you, Tiny will go wild.
He tried to get too cute. Davis will pull up, and he's off. Chilcutt. Chilcutt nails the three-pointer. Inside 30 seconds to go. It's a 9-point lead. That was not a smart pass. He had a 3-on-1.
Says nothing comes easy. Look at Tiny.
Got to work to the last second.
Ball rolling away like that. Smart North Carolina kids. They don't touch it. That's how you get the clock stopped.
Mitchell's ahead of everybody. He'll go up and jam again.
32 for Mike Mitchell.
34 now, actually.
I beg your pardon.
Hubert Davis. Biggest win in Colorado State history. Hines is fouled, 7 seconds to go, and everybody here on their feet. Coaching staff wasn't sure it could be done. You're right, Herb. This is a better unit than last year.
This is a tough team. I'm telling you, you better get ready when you play these guys. And 2 weeks ago in Montana, Tiny was as down as I've seen him. That's how bad it went. Boy, he brought him back on the airplane Sunday. They went to the gym. They worked out. He benched Anderson. I don't know if Anderson would ever get out of the doghouse.
Jamie Hines will be all alone at the line. 78-67.
Drew, the real key, though, for people to know, this is not CSU's home court because basketball is a homer's game. It's a neutral court.
That's off, and we're done. Carolina and Dean Smith have dropped one to that man, Boyd Tiny Grant, coaching at his alma mater. And they've done it convincingly. 78-67, a game they led by as many as 20 points in the second half. There'll be some parties going on in the Mile High City tonight and also in Fort Collins. We'll come back, talk some about
Rams will go into the championship game of the Mile High Classic. And indeed, it was a very entertaining game. I guess if you're a North Carolina fan, it looks much as the season has so far for the Tar Heels. It's been an up and down season. Came in as a 24th ranked team in the country, 7-4. They're now 7-5. But you saw some great coaching from Dean Smith during the game. He almost got his team back into it. And they'll be there when the season is over. A lot of people think they'll win the ACC. For Colorado State, a big, big win for their program. And Drew Goodman has a couple of happy Rams players.
All right, we'll start with one very happy Ram, Andy Anderson. I talked to you earlier today. I said, do you get a little more fired up for this one? You said a lot more. You played like it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I just tried to tonight just to come together with the team and try to play hard and give everything I had, because that's what Coach Grant expects out of me.
When you came out of the tunnel to begin the game, were you a little bit in awe? I mean, the Carolina blue, the tradition.
I think that made everybody play a little harder, because we knew if we didn't play hard, they could easily blow us out. So I think everybody come out and play with full intensity, and we knew we were going to be there.
All right, we have a highlight, I believe, coming up of some of the play tonight in double figures and all over the floor. That's a pretty good seal-off. Play sportscaster, Andy. That's not a bad turnaround jumper.
That was pretty sweet, wasn't it?
There you go. You can have some enthusiasm there. And Andy Anderson again in double figures in points, and we want to bring in Mike Mitchell also and Mark Meredith in a moment. Andy, congratulations. Bring your buddies over here, okay? That's a great win. Colorado State winning it by 11. A couple other players of the game. There's a lot of them tonight. Let's bring in Mark Meredith, and then we'll follow up with Mike Mitchell. Hey, you can stand right there. Hey, Mark, I really thought what did them in at the end of the ball game, or certainly in the second half, was you got open for three-pointers and you knocked them down.
Yeah, coach was telling me right at halftime I got to get way more involved in the offense. I wasn't even looking for my shot, and they were drawing the money right, and he's just kicking it out, and it was feeling really good.
Can you put it into words what it feels like to beat a team with the tradition of North Carolina?
No, I really can't right now. I'm feeling really good. I don't know how to put it out. I'm just loving this. This is great.
5 of 5 in the second half from three-point range. And you're going to get a pretty good feed coming up here from the man we'll bring in a moment. Mike Mitchell kicks it back out, and you knock it down.
That is nice.
You love it right now. But you got to get ready. You got a ball game coming up tomorrow.
Yeah, we do. We can't even celebrate this for more than an hour, I'd say, and then we got to get our mind right back on it. And Massachusetts really took CU apart, and we're going to have to get our minds right back on the game for tomorrow night.
Hey, Mark, enjoy it. Congratulations. We'll talk to you soon. Bring in your partner here.
Money, come on in.
All right, there he is.
Money.
Well, Money.
Stick around.
You can stick right in there. Money, as you called him, had a career-high 34 points, and that was against maybe the finest outfit you've ever competed against.
Yeah, they were a great outfit. You know, they played hard, and, you know, they kept calling them timeouts at the last minute. I never thought the game was going to end. They kept hitting them threes. Was surprised that's a lot.
That's right. Rick Fox knocked down a couple of threes. Was there concern, even when you were up by 17, when they started knocking down threes, that, hey, this might not be over?
No, there wasn't any concern, but we were just making sure that we kept playing hard and making sure we hit our free throws at the end. We missed a few, but, you know, it came down to crunch time. We hit them.
Let me ask both of you guys the same question I just asked your teammate, Andy Anderson. When you came out on the floor, first time, and you saw the Carolina blue, was there any extra butterflies? Say, hey, man, this is Carolina.
No, there was no extra butterflies to me because I played against Vegas, and I don't think they can match up with them right now.
Of course, when you were at Fresno State. How about you, Mark?
I agree. I wasn't really intimidated by it. I was ready to go at him.
Not bad. 9-2. Hey, guys, enjoy it tonight.
Say hi to somebody?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, let's say hi to people around the nation. Hey!
Yeah, we're number one. And I want to say hi to Tim and Gordon and Kerman. What's up?
Okay, great. Mike Mitchell and Mark Meredith, superb evenings. Meredith 5 of 5 from three-point range. And Mike Mitchell, a career-high 34 points. He was something else. Wasn't he, Norm Jones?
You said it all, Drew. Indeed, they were all something else. And now the record is 9-2 for Tiny Grant. You know, it was a three-point ball game. Three-point ball game at halftime. 31-28 Colorado State. The Rams took charge in the second half. Couple of runs by North Carolina in the second half to make it interesting, as they always do, but the Rams stayed tough and beat North Carolina, so the Rams now in the championship game of the Mile High Classic. Well, we want to get a final comment from Drew Goodman and Irv Brown. Not a bad game, fellas.
No, it wasn't a bad game, especially if you're a Colorado State fan. It was an enjoyable basketball game. Two great coaches, Tiny Grant and Dean Smith. How about this? How would you like to lose and be in the consolation game of a tournament and you draw North Carolina? How often does that happen?
I'm not sure it's ever happened before. Yeah, I tell you what, those were two excellent coaches who stressed the fundamentals, who know what they want to do. I think that's the key thing for me watching both those guys. They know what they want their kids to do. And a lot of coaches, you know, they struggle with a situation like that. Big win, and I'll tell you, you can't play any better than CSU did. When they had to have it, every facet of the game was clicking. They hit the boards, they got the three-point shot, and their superstar was terrific. And Mike Mitchell is truly a college superstar.
Yes, he is. Couple of quick stats for you. 34 points for Mitchell, a career best. Meredith was 17. 14 for Andy Anderson, a great role, 6'7" small forward. Scott Williams had 21 points for Carolina, 15 for Rick Fox, and a couple of threes down the stretch that got Carolina back in it momentarily. That'll do it from here for